Welcome to enabling incoming and outgoing email for MOS 2007. I'm going to start with enabling incoming email on the server. If you have Windows Server 2003 and SharePoint for MOS 2007 installed, you should have under your administrative tools a link for SharePoint 3.0 Central Administration. You click on that. You'll see a operations link here on the top left. To enable incoming email, we click on the incoming email settings, and then it'll be disabled by default. So the first thing we'll do is enable that by clicking yes here, and then by giving it a domain to listen to. So in our case, I could use Microsoft.com, for example, to listen for email on Microsoft.com, which wouldn't be good. So I'm going to go ahead and switch that to a sample email address, which will be mos.somecompany.com. You don't need the word MOS, but for my example, that's what my email domain it looks like. I could also choose whether or not I want to receive email from any server or from one of my internal servers. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK. I'm going to save this. Close this down. Pull up my portal, my little test portal here, and on my test portal I have a test site called recruiting sites, a demo recruiting site. And in there I've got a SharePoint list that will handle all of my incoming resumes from my sample company here. So I'm going to go to the settings of this list, go to document library settings, so that I can enable email for this list. So now you see I have an incoming email settings link here on the right side under communications. I go ahead and click on that, which is disabled, so I'm going to go ahead and enable it. And for this SharePoint list, I want this list to listen to any email that comes in the address of jobs@mos.somecompany.com. And as you can see, I've got a few options as to how to handle the email once it comes in. I will show a few of those options later on. The important one for now is that I want to be able to receive email from the outside world, so I'd have to accept email messages from any sender. Alright, hit OK there. Now you'll see that my SharePoint list, this one, is listening for any email sent to jobs@mos.somecompany.com. So let's go ahead and test that. We'll go and switch to our incoming resume list. And you see I have no files there now. I'm going to go ahead and open Outlook up here. And this Outlook session is logged in as someone outside of the mos.somecompany.com address. So I'm going to send an email to that email address that we established, which is jobs@mos.somecompany.com. If I can type it, there we go. The subject will be, we'll put in better yet, let's go ahead and put in the resume of John Doe. Alright, I'll put in a quick message here to go along with the resume, and then go ahead and attach my resume, my sample document, if you will. And I will attach the John Doe resume. Hit the send button. Now, in the real world, let me minimize Outlook. In the real world, it would take a few minutes for the email to show up depending on how your server's set up, but I'm speeding it up for my recording here. And so voila, there's my document when it was sent, and there's the email address of the person who sent it. Okay, so now that we've got the simple how to handle incoming email, let's go ahead and change one of the settings for the list. So I go back to my settings here, go back to the incoming email settings, and what I want to do this time is I want to actually keep the email message that went along with the attachment. Before, as you can see, I have the attachment, but I don't have the actual email. So I go ahead and save the original email, hit OK, go back to my list here, and let's go ahead and delete the document that we already have. So let's say yes to that, and then we'll go ahead and bring Outlook back up and send another email. So let's go ahead and hit new. We'll send it to the same email address, which is the jobs@mos.somecompany.com. Put in the subject, my resume. There we go, my resume. and now put an actual message in so we can see that we actually got the message along with the attachment. So this is my resume will be the message, and the attachment will be John Doe resume. Let's go ahead and send that email. And again, we will speed it up a little bit, so I will go ahead and minimize this, and then I'll speed up the recording so the resume will show up right now. There it is. So I've got the attachment and I've got now the email. So both of those two. So if I actually click on the email link, it'll show me what was in the body of that email. So this is my resume, was what we typed in. And I still have the attachment as well. So let's show one more of the many options of how to deal with the email. We're going to change how the attachments are stored. So let's go ahead, delete these two. Alright, delete the attachment. Alright, now I'll just go to the settings link, go back to the document library settings, go back to the incoming email section, and I'll turn off the save the original email part because I don't need that for this example. But I want to change how I deal with the attachments. I want all the attachments to be stored by the email sender address. So I hit OK, go back to my list here, and then I will go ahead in the Outlook, send another email again. So I hit a new to the same address. Each SharePoint list has to have a different email address that it's listening on, but each SharePoint address can have at least one email address that it's listening for emails on and attachments and whatnot. So here's my resume. I will go ahead and attach a document again. Hit the send button. Go ahead and minimize that. And then in a second here, you will see the resume show up, but this time, there it is, it will show up in a folder. The folder by the person who sent the email. So that's how each attachment would be stored. If I open that folder, you'll see the attachment sitting right there. Okay, so now that we have that, one of the other things you do in document workflow is if someone sent you an email, you may want to send an automated response. So let me show you how to enable automated responses from SharePoint. So we'll go back to our Central Administration link and go back up to the Operations link, and then right above the incoming there's the outgoing email. So all you have to do is put in your SMTP server address or your Exchange address, which however you deal with that, your email. So I'll go ahead and put in the moss@somecompany.com address, and then an email address that you want all of your automated email, the ones that SharePoint will send out as soon as it receives an email. So this would be a part of your workflow. But this would be the email address that the server would type somecompany.com. This would be the address that the emails would be sent from. So hit OK and you're done. Alrighty. So with that, I am done with this recording. Look for more recordings on document workflow and see my blog for more.